Joining us now, Alfredo Ortiz. He is the president CEO of Job Creators Network. I just saw him Tuesday for the rollout of the new Steve Forbes movie, Money. Great movie. Alfredo, great to have you.
Hey, John, thanks for having me back. It was a great movie, wasn't it? And it was fantastic seeing you there, by the way.
Well, thank you, too. And normally you go to these movie showings and, they're kind of a yawner, right? It's late. You have seeing a few friends. They have to sit down. They turn the lights out and you're like, whatever. But I didn't want to miss a word. Like somebody was trying to talk to me in the middle of it. And I'm like, can we talk after it's over? Because it was really that great. And, of course, the Steve Forbes narrative was excellent. And what Forbes did is he chronicled the history of money in the United States and how when it was tied to the gold standard and it was stable, how the economy exploded. And every time they came off it and manipulated it and did Keynesian stimulus and things like that where it's not tied to anything, where we ended up going into recession every single time.
Yeah. He really did a fabulous job. I know it's running on PBS. We were really excited to host it, and of course, Kudlow was there, and Steve Moore was there, and of course, you were there. So I mean, what else was needed, right? I mean, all the stars of DC were there.
Yeah, we had the stars out in DC, and Alfredo, I really appreciate your guys at the Job Creators Network the hosting that because it was a great night, a lot of. And it was good to get all the like tax cut economic conservatives together, right? That was the fun part of it, right? Because we all believe if you simply cut taxes, you're going to continue to stimulate and drive the economy, and we've seen that. Look, Alfredo, comment on this again. Numbers come out: 196,000 jobs created. The economic forecasters were telling us about 170,000, so that was exceeded by 15%. And then, but here's the big factor, wages up 3.1% again.
Yep. I mean, this is incredible, John. We're seeing this month over month over month. And going back to the report was a nice, great, solid report. Everything that we wanted was in there, if you think about it. Inflation's in check. The wage growth is positive. The numbers are up. Little softness on the labor force participation rate, which, again, we want to keep on driving that, and we can come back and talk a little bit about that, why I think that is. But, great solid report, zero reason why the Fed should even be contemplating any kind of rate increase. Again, we still would love to see a quarter rate pullback from what what they had done in December, which we still think was an error. I know you had just made the point about the media basically trying to talk the economy into a recession when it didn't exist. We're just excited to see these numbers. And I still continue to say that we are going to see growth in the small business sector because there was, John, as you recall, the Treasury didn't really come out with much of that rulemaking until September, October of last year.
Right.
And it was a little late for a lot of small businesses to engage fully, right? And so now they're seeing the numbers, they're doing their filings, they're seeing the positive work. I actually just, dropped off my work, my paperwork to the CPA that I use, and he's a fairly, decent-sized firm. They mostly do small businesses, and he says almost without exception, every single one of their businesses, this has been positive for them. He's seen and talking to them, and they're excited. They're reinvesting back into their businesses. They're hiring people. They're increasing wages. Everything we said would happen. Back when we started our campaign a couple of years back ago, driving for tax cuts is happening among small business owners. So we couldn't be more excited.
Well, the economic resurgence under the Trump economic policies, and specifically the tax cut, which is the best thing he did in the first term by far, without a doubt, the best thing he's done is continuing to drive this economy. Now, I want to get to Federal Reserve because it's been the fake newsers and the legacy media, and you were right. They're trying to talk the economy into a recession. They hate Trump so much. They hate him so much. They would rather see the country tank and people back out in the street without a job than
I've never seen anything so un-American, John.
It's incredible. It's treasonous. Crazy. I mean, it's unbelievable. And you're right. They're trying to talk the economy off a cliff, but they can't do it because it's that strong. But I want to get to the Federal Reserve because you and I are in agreement. Look, I understood quantitative easing. Like, I really got it. And I'm one of those people that on the Trump side, but I thought I thought Janet Yellen under Obama did a pretty good job in dealing with what she had, right? Because you got to play the hand there you're dealt, right? She's not in charge of economic policy. And I thought, look, she knew the economy was weak. She knew the Obama economic flow was a disaster. So I understood the quantitative easing. And I also got that rates had to go up a little bit to get back to somewhere equilibrium. But the number of increases we had in 2018, I really believe was done to sabotage the economy. I have no doubt. Now we've got two members of the Fed that the president, one he's nominated, the other is on the edge, and that is Steve Moore and Herman Cain. What do you think of those?
Look, I think they're both great picks because they're both going to introduce what I call kind of a real life, real world thinking into this, group of just, wonky policy, types. I'm good friends with Steve. He's on our board. And I have to tell you, he just gets it, right? He understands, he gets it. He understands that it's more than just a bunch of charts, that you're looking at. There's the real world economics at play here, real world life. And I love the fact that he's going to introduce that into the Fed. And I love the fact that Herman Cain, I'm not sure if you recall, but, years and years ago, I actually helped Herman Cain out on his campaign out in Georgia. And so I know Herman well. I think he's qualified. He was a Fed Reserve board member as well before in his previous lifetime. He was a CEO of a fairly successful pizza chain at the time. And, I think he's going to bring real-world economics, to this body of thought. And I think these are great ads, but, of course, the left's going to vilify both of them, and we know that. And I just hope that, the Republicans stand united on this one and get them nominated. I've already seen that our senator out in Utah, Senator Romney, has already questioned in a pretty serious way, I guess, Herman Cain's nomination already. So, without even giving the guy an opportunity to speak, he's already come out against him, I guess. Basically
because Romney's a loser and he sucks, and he's still mad because Herman Cain was beating him in that campaign in 2012 and probably wouldn't have beaten him had some of those phony allegations had not come out, and he decided not to fight back. He never fought back. He should have done that. But, I don't really care what Mitt Romney says. I'm so sick of him, to be honest, and he's part of the whole disaster that we've got going on. But, look, we did talk to Herman Cain last evening. I told Herman that you were coming on my show today. He was fired up, and he has a special message for Alfredo Ortiz, Job Creators Network. Herman, what is it?
999.
999, he says. What do you think?
Yeah, trust me. I remember that all too well. 999. Yeah, look, Herman has some great ideas. I always remember him saying about, sometimes slogans are important. And, coming from a marketing guy as well, that's my previous work. Marketing your ideas is just as important as the idea itself sometimes. He did a great job at it. So,
Herman, what do you think of the Job Creators Network, Herman? Just give me your quick assessment of it. What is it, Herman? What is it again? Here it is.
999.
That's what he thinks of the Job Creators Network. He thinks it's a 999. I said no, it's 10, 10, 10.
I assume he was saying we're a 9.99 on a 10-point scale. Is that right? Is that my interpretation of that, John?
9.99 out of 10, he said. Especially with him on the board.
No, but it's good. Look, we're excited. We got to keep on pushing for, permanency on these tax cuts, John. I mean, on the small business front, as you know, these do expire, right? Because we had to go around these arcane, budgetary rules last year. But, we got to push, I still think, even for this year, I think we should be not letting, Congress go on this. We should, I think, push for permanency of the small business taxes. I'd like to see an increase on the deduction from 20% up to about 23%. And, I would like to include all different sectors as part of that because I think it's important. I just went to my dentist, for example, a couple weeks ago, and he employs, great people. He has about 12 people on his staff, really great paying jobs. And we should encourage, doctors, lawyers, everybody to continue to have more success because they're going to just hire more people. And, we're going to keep on fighting that fight. But as you know, of course, John, we're going to be fighting the socialism-capitalism fight, because this is truly the fight that's I think, going to be critical next year, along with fighting this crazy Medicare for all idea, Bernie Sanders and the other socialists are pushing for. We got to expose socialism for what it is. It is a rising ill in this country that we just have to squash once and for all. And I think 2020 is going to be the year to do it. So I just, ask everybody to, look us up on jobcreatorsnetwork.com if they would, help us, with this fight. I think most of your listeners probably have heard about the billboard that we put up in Times Square hitting AOC. Just the other day, a friend of mine here in Virginia sent me a nice shot of a building out in Crystal City, Virginia, where headquarters HQ2 Amazon is putting up shop. And it just says, "Welcome Amazon, my new neighbor." And my first thought was, boy, I bet you there are folks in New York, I wish they'd see that same sign in their city. And they're not, because of AOC.
Well, you know what? We're with Alfredo Ortiz. He's the president and CEO of the Job Creators Network. You can get more information. Go to jobcreatorsnetwork.com. That's jobcreatorsnetwork.com. And Alfredo, it is amazing that we're sitting here on the radio debating a 29-year-old calling for a socialistic state in America. And, you get back to the fake news legacy media. They've taken her seriously. And I guess it's made everybody else take her seriously. I mean, it's hard for me to even sit on the radio and have this, what I think is an asinine debate over becoming a socialist country when the economy is just exploding like it is. Like, who would even do this? She's 29 years old. Why do we even take her seriously? But they do. And so that's why I'm now with you. Like, the first couple of months, I'm like, why are we even paying attention to her? But what I think we should do, John? You know what? I think we should go the other way on this. I think what we should do, you and I, we should start the AOC for speaker. That's right, AOC for speaker. I love it. Right? AOC for speaker.
Can you imagine Nancy Pelosi right now?
I mean, she should. I mean, there's no I think law in Congress that has an age for the speaker, right?
No, I'm telling you. I bet you the president would love that, right? I mean, talking about really being able to differentiate, but no greater the two policies of socialism versus capitalism, with the freedom and liberties that capitalism has brought, versus these just crazy ass ideas that the socialists have brought. These $93 trillion price tag Green New Deals, Medicare for all being part of that. And the one thing, John, I think you and I would love for your help on this, really. With all the listeners, too, is we got to be vigilant about how the Democrats are going to, especially in the House, they're going to take that Medicare for all and, of course, in the Senate, and they're going to try to break up in little pieces, right, because they think the American public's not going to notice. We're going to have to call out each and every single one of these little sub-initiatives, basically, for what they are. That's basically, they're pieces of a bigger puzzle called Medicare for all. They're going to try to break them up because that's what they do, right? The Democrats incrementalize their way into what they want to do. We got to make sure we're vigilant and call them out for what they are, and make sure we taint each and every single one of those initiatives with that bigger brand of Medicare for all, because we got to bring these ideas down.
Well, you're right. That is what they're going to try to do, because there's not a public sentiment out there to get rid of private health insurance, and in order to have Medicaid for all, and Kamala Harris let the cat out of the bag, right? She said it back when she announced her presidency. You've got to eliminate and make private insurance illegal, because otherwise you'll never get there. The only way that Medicaid for all gives the power to the Democrats they need is if everybody is on it. If it's a failing option-in program, then it's going to the folly of it is going to be proved out. So Harris let the cat out of the bag. And like when I've got a senator here in Virginia, Tim Kaine, who is for the Medicaid public option, which means you can buy into it. Now, I'm in favor of that. I tell you why, because nobody's going to buy it because it's horrible. So that's really the issue. And they know that, right? So incrementalism, you're right. They want to, it sounds safe, right? But I want them to go forward with it, because if you buy it, you're not going to get to see a doctor, and you're going to say, this is what I'm faced with if this is where it goes, because it is going to be a catastrophe. So that's really what the issue is.
Yeah, it really is. We got to call that. I mean, think about it. 180 million people will basically lose insurance that they love today. 180 million people who receive insurance from their employers, from the corporate employers. That's gone. And really, Medicare, as it stands today, will be abolished as well. It's a complete rejigger of the entire system. So everybody, our seniors who like Medicare, that will go away as well. And people have to understand that. So, again, we couldn't set up something probably more perfect. And that's why I kind of jokingly said, AOC for speaker, because we would love for basically for her to be literally the leadership voice that shows America really what the Democrats are about and how they really have become the party of socialists.
Well, she continues to put the fear of God in all the Democrats running for president. They're all kowtowing to her. But she is becoming the face of the Democratic Party. So why not just go all in and go AOC for speaker? Go all in.
Right?
I think you're right. I think you're onto something.
I think we're onto something. You heard it right here.
On the John Fredericks Radio Network, AOC for speaker. We're going to start that campaign. And you take a billboard out in Times Square. I'll take one out in Richmond and a couple others, and we'll just start a mantra. Let me ask Kiara. She's a Democrat, right? Kiara, you're a Democrat, aren't you? What do you think?
I am an independent thinker.
Yeah, whatever. Okay, what do you think for that means you're a Democrat. What you just don't want to say it on the air. What do you think about AOC for speaker, Kiara?
Don't do this to me, John. It's time for the break.
She doesn't even want AOC for speaker, and she's a Democrat. My producer. AOC for speaker. I think you hit a nerve there, Alfredo, with Kiara. Right? Kiara, what are you going to do with that? All your plans are going to go up in smoke.
Right here.
My millennial Democrat producer doesn't want AOC for speaker. The truth is coming out, Kiara. Come on, Kiara. You don't want her for speaker, do you?
You're a black millennial.
My black millennial, black activist.
Right.
Millennial producer.
I love AOC, but I don't know about that.
See, Alfredo, you're onto something, baby. AOC for speaker.
Let's just put it all in and see what happens, right?
Let's go all in. My black.
We're all in for that.
Okay,
we'll get the bumper stickers going right after this.
AOC for speaker. I think it is a brilliant idea, because let's go all in, right? If she's going to be on Instagram and everything else, and the legacy fake news media is going to talk her up, let's go all the way and make her speaker. Let's do it.
I mean, this is what Pelosi wanted, right? Bringing more of that millennial vote into the party, and well, there we go. Let's just put it right at the top then.
All right, I got to go. AOC for speaker.
All right, John.
Start a website, AOCforspeaker.com.
Always fun to be on your show, especially on a Friday.
Alfredo, thank you so much. We're going to be right back. Go to taxcutswork.com.